And welcome back to our NCAA football win total series. We now finished the entirety of the Pac 12. We are on to Washington State. And Washington State, since Mike Leach took over back in 2012, has been a much better team. Brought them to a bowl game in 13 and then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all bowl games. He's gone after 2019, though. Nick Rolovich shows up 1-3 in the COVID year. He's 4-3 in 2021, but gets fired because he wouldn't do the COVID vaccine. Jake Dickert takes over, ends up going 7-6 on the season with a Sun Bowl loss. 2022, 7-6 with an LA Bowl loss. And then last year, though, a little bit of a struggle. They open up at Colorado State, against Wisconsin, Northern Colorado, and Oregon State, two ranked teams. They're 4-0. Then they lose at UCLA. You lose against Arizona 44-6. Lose at Oregon. Lose at Arizona State. Lose against Stanford. Lose against Cal. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-game skid before they finally beat Colorado. Chance to make a bowl game. They're facing number 4 Washington on the road. They lose 24-21. It ends up being a 5-7 season for Jake Dickert and the Cougars. Jake Dickert's back, but not a lot of players are. As the Pac-12 dwindled, so did this roster. We start out with quarterback. It looks like backup from last year, John Metier, is going to get the best chance at it. They also have Zevi Eckhouse from Bryant. Metier's a little bit of a better passer. Eckhouse is a better mover. The big thing is they're going to need time. And this offensive line was bad last year. Over 3 sacks a game, too many tackles for a loss. They bring back 4 starters, but they're not great starters. At the wide receiver situation, their top 2 receivers are gone. Kyle Williams is back. They also have Carlos Hernandez and tight end Cooper Mathers. The ground game is good. 2 of the top 3s are running backs are back with Schellenbacher and Dylan Payne. But they just combined for 296 yards and a score last year. The defense definitely got better towards the end of the year. Linebacking core gets back their top tackler, Kyle Thornton. They get back Tariq Ukada in the middle. They bring some transfers for the outside. Defensive line, though, is completely overhauled. They didn't get a good pass rush last year, so they need to definitely be better this year. It's going to be David Gusta at one of the tackles, Nusi Milani at the other. The defensive ends, though, are kind of undecided right now. Secondaries had to get some replacements, but they have some good ones. They have Kapina Gishkin, who had 36 tackles in the nickel spot. He's going to probably move to the outside. 2 strong safeties in the backfield, but the 2 other corners do need to be completely replaced. Overall, the defense should be an issue. I mean, it's probably going to give up a lot of points, and the problem is the Cougars didn't pass well last year. They have to pass better this year, or it's going to be a struggle. We look at the schedule, though. Everyone's kind of got the over-under set at 7.5, with the under slightly favored. And on August 31st, they open up against Portland State. That should be a win. Then they have Texas Tech coming to town. That will probably be a loss. They're at Washington, probably a loss. San Jose State at home should be a win, but then they got to go to the Smurf turf of Boise State. That's probably a loss before a bye. They're at Fresno State. Eileen loss. Hawaii is a win at home. San Diego State probably a win on the road. They have the bye again. Then they get Utah State that's in turmoil. New Mexico State on the road that's completely flipped over. Then the Pac-12 game at Oregon State. Oregon State's at home. That's probably a loss. And then they finish out at home with Wyoming. I think this is a bowl team. 6-6, 7-5, probably the most likely. If they're able to upset Oregon State on the road and then either pull off, Boise State or Fresno State on the road, they might be able to get to 8. But I just don't see a path to 8 for them this year. So we're going to take the under 7.5. DraftKings has it at +100, and that's going to be our pick. If you like this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time as we start the Big 12 and we move to Arizona.